Zoroastrianism, Symbols and Values by Duchesne Guillemin. Introduction. Picking back up on page 5. It will be noted that the author, in defining his religion, has taken care to oppose it to Christianity, original sin, to Islam, fatalism, and to Hinduism, transmigration. He concludes with a brief ethics. The soul's sole advocate at the celestial judgment after death is the good deeds which he has performed on earth. He should therefore live a righteous life here below. The whole moral doctrine of Zoroastrianism can be summarized in 3 notions: good thoughts, good words, good deeds. They compass all religion teaches in the way of virtues: order and purity, truth and righteousness, obedience and humility, compassion and gratitude, love of parents, family, and compatriots, good treatment of subordinates, care for useful animals, as well as activity, zeal, chastity, self-confidence, hospitality, and generosity. Vices, on the contrary, stem from bad thoughts, bad words, bad deeds. Geographical and historical sketch. In Iran today covers only a part of the territory occupied by the Iranians in the course of their history. One should add to it at least Afghanistan, southwestern Pakistan, Baluchistan, Russian Turkestan, as far as the Sir Darya River, the Ural and Caspian Seas, as well as an area in southern Russia as far as the Black Sea. Iran, shortened from Iran Shah, means land of the Aryans. Before invading this country, the Aryas formed a single group, with the future occupants of India also called themselves Aryas. This kinship is proved not only by identity of name, but also and above all by the comparison of the 2 languages, and it is likewise reflected in their religion. Where did these Indo-Iranians live, this offshoot of the larger Indo-European nation? They have left no identifiable material trace. It is known only that they entered India from the northwest, for they first occupied the Punjab, the land of the Indus River and its tributaries, before reaching the Ganges and swarming off into the rest of Indian subcontinent and beyond. As for the invasion of Iran, we have no knowledge of how it took place. The presence of Aryas, recognizable by the names they bore, is attested in Western Asia from the 16th century BC on, among the Kassites who held sway over Babylonia, and at that time among the Mitannians who reigned in Upper Mesopotamia as far as Palestine, where their names occur in cuneiform tablets dated from 1600 to 1250 BC, but it cannot be ascertained whether they were closer to the Aryas of India or to those of Iran. The main dialectical divisions of Iran, which can be observed in historical times, give the outlines of the tribal division. 4 regions may be distinguished, each of which played its own part in the history of the whole nation. The east, separated from the west by the great central desert of the Iranian plateau, except for the series of oases south of the Caspian, was the scene of the first expansion of Zoroastrian religion. It is there that the oldest parts of the Avesta, the sacred book of this religion, were composed. The northwest, that is, south of the Caspian and Caucasus, was the country of the Medes, whose king Diocles founded a first Iranian empire, Herodotus I, 96, and Ecbatana for its capital. They are cited for the first time in 835 BC in a cuneiform document reporting a campaign of Shalmaneser, the 3rd king of Assyria, against them. The Magi, according to Herodotus, were a Median tribe. The southwest, or more exactly the part of the plateau lying along the Persian Gulf, was the land of Persei, whose dialect was clearly different from the rest. It is this region alone that deserves the name Persia, today Fars, which accordingly ought to be received for. In the middle of the 6th century, the Persian king Cyrus subdued the Medes, conquered Babylon, thus liberating the Jews, and founded the Achaemenid Empire, which was later to threaten Greece, and finally succumbed only to Alexander, 331 BC. Achaemenids. Cyrus, who reigned from 558 to 530, had for his capital Pasargadae in Persia. His successor, Cambyses, 530 through 522, conquered Egypt. The region of the Achaemenid Empire is similarly known through the inscriptions of Darius, 522 through 486, and his successors caused to be engraved on the rock of Behustan on the road from Babylon to Ecbatana, and in their capitals of Persepolis, near modern Shiraz, and Susa, near Shustar, in ancient Elam, or Sisiana, due north of the Persian Gulf. They worshipped Ahura Mazda, but do not cite Zarathustra. The Magi were the clergy. Xerxes, 486 through 465, prohibited the cult of the Devas, the ancient god, Sanskrit Deva, god. 482, he destroyed Babylon, which had rebelled and suppressed the religion of Marduk, which his predecessors had tolerated. Arsacids first, long-handed, 465 through 425, in order to secure the loyalty of Jerusalem against rebellious Egypt, charged Ezra, chief of the Jews who had remained in Babylon, with the task of reorganizing Jerusalem. He charged Nehemiah Wam, he appointed governor in 444, with that of rebuilding its walls under Artaxerxes II, called Menemon, 405 through 359. The Iranian cult, thus far without idols, was provided with statues and imitations of the Greek effigies of the goddess Anahita, the Iranian Achaemenids, were introduced at Babylon, Susa, and Ecbatana, and her cult extended to Persia, Bactriana, Eastern Iran, and Sardis, Asia Minor. The royal inscriptions, which had so far cited only Ahura Mazda, now also named Anahita and Mithra. The fourth and final region of Iran to the north was inhabited by nomads, the Sakas or Scythians, who played an episodic role. Through their excursions southwards, their area reached as far as southern Russia, where they were known to the Greeks. Herodotus described their religion and customs. Arsacids, a century and a half later, after Alexander's death, western Iran passed under the domination of the Parthians, an Iranian people that had come from the southeast of the Caspian. Mithridates I, 171 through 138 BC, was the founder of the Parthian or Sassanian Empire, which held the Romans in check. Its capital was Ctesiphon, built near Seleucia, not far from the future Baghdad. The Semitic element is above all important in the Parthian cities of Mesopotamia, such as Dura Europos, on the middle of Euphrates, in eastern Iran, and ancient Iranian, Greek, and Indian religions lived side by side without much mingling. This area, superficially Hellenized by Alexander and the Bactrian kings which succeeded him, of which Menedar was the most famous, underwent at the time several invasions. That of the Sakas, North Iranians, left to a part of the country the name Sakistana, land of the Sakas, today called Sistan, partly in Afghanistan and partly in Baluchistan. These were succeeded by the Pallavas. One of Wam, Gondophares, was known in the Christian legend for having welcomed the Apostle Thomas, and also as one of the three Magi, Gaspar, Wam, who gone to prostrate themselves at Bethlehem. Up until then, the ancient Iranian religion submerged under Hellenism. Its crops up again under the rule of the Kushans. The greatest of Wam was Kanishka. On their coins, Greek, Iranian, and Indian gods are represented, since they also held sway over India. The Iranian religion reaches into the country, and in the same way Buddhism was introduced into Eastern Asia, attested for instance by the colossal Buddha statues of Bamiyan near Kabul.